Yeah,
hide.
but I know, like, internally, like, I guess as a mom, I just knew they weren't playing hide. I knew Elle wasn't playing hide and go seek at that moment. For whatever reason, like, I just knew.
As we all know in scary movies,
yeah,
kidnap movies, it's always like people close to you or your neighbors, right?
YouTube family channels, a genre of content on this website that I will genuinely never understand. On both ends of the spectrum, I not only do not understand why a person would decide to exploit every waking moment of their child's life just for YouTube views, and I don't understand why anybody would take time out of their day to watch it. Well, in fairness, I sort of understand the first part of that question because, you know, money. But the second part, yeah, that's a mystery to me. But they are definitely still popular in 2022, and today we are going to be talking about arguably the most popular one ever, the Ace family. More specifically, their most recent upload titled The Scariest Day of Our Life, in which I believe they are faking a kidnap scare story. Now look, I want to preface this video by saying that there is going to be absolutely zero hard evidence in this video. If you are expecting like a scientifically prepared iceberg kind of video, well, you are in the wrong place, my friend. But I was watching this video, and the more I listened, the more I became convinced that there is absolutely no way that this actually happened. And while the Ace family's been caught in many lies by many YouTubers before, so I don't think it's too far-fetched. There's just way too many things that don't really make sense and that kind of contradict each other, and I think you'll agree. But before we begin, I want to talk about today's video sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Now look, you've got a phone, right? If so, and you're not playing Raid Shadow Legends already, then I don't really know what you're doing, because you are missing out on a AAA experience that you can fit into your pocket. Now look, I'm what they call a gamer, so whenever I pick up a new game, I'm already looking forward to getting to that in-game content. So I want to take a moment to talk about my favorite piece of challenging raid content, the Doom Tower. Now the Doom Tower is basically a giant prison. The Arbiter fought a pack of really nasty bad guys a long time ago, but she wasn't quite strong enough to take them out for good, so instead she locked them up in a super massive tower until, you know, she figured out how to deal with them. And well, it's been a few thousand years or so, and there's still a Doom Tower, so I'll let you do the math on that one. What's worse is now that Sarath is leaking back into the world, the Arbiter doesn't have the power to keep the wards up, so the Doom Tower is falling. And well, it's up to me and you to go in there and knock some heads before they get out. And Raid's got something extra special happening right now. They've released a legendary champion based off the MMA and pro wrestling legend Ronda Rousey. Yes, the Ronda Rousey, and you can get Ronda for free right now, whether you're a new or a long-time player. All you gotta do is log in and play Raid for 7 days between now and February 28th, and Ronda is yours. That's all there is to it. And to celebrate Ronda's arrival in Raid, use the special promo code RAIDRONDA to get a bunch of helpful stuff perfect for leveling your Ronda up so she's at the top of her game. Also, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get your exclusive rewards in Raid right now. But wait, there's more. New players use my link or scan the QR code right here and get a free starter pack worth almost $30, a free champion Vergis, and also this cool in-game loot. You will find your rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. Once again, I want to thank Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video, and let's begin. Please subscribe.
Hey, Ace family!
welcome back to our channel, guys.
What's going on, everybody? If you are new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the family.
Welcome to Vlogmas Day 15. Oof.
We got 10 days left.
We actually woke up this morning, we had like all these errands to run, and I was telling Austin we should probably do a story time today just because we haven't done one in a long time. And I feel like we have like a lot of stories that we haven't told you guys.
And normally that would be considered, you know, normal to not share every story you have with social media. Yeah, that's okay. That's nothing to be ashamed about, guys.
We wanted to share the scariest day of our lives.
Do we really want to share this?
The absolute most scariest, most traumatizing, most outer body, most terrible experience that I think both of us have ever gone through together.
I don't even like thinking about this situation.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
He says with a smile on his face. Now look, if this is actually true, Ace family, then I apologize. Not trying to make light of an otherwise scary situation, but this story just doesn't make sense. I've got to go with my gut.
But I will say, okay, so this happened a year ago, or maybe a little over a year ago. We haven't told the story to anybody. The only people that know are like our immediate family. But I will say, like, whenever I think about this moment, I just like, I get the chills.
Alright, so this is something that I noticed that is a bit bit strange to me. When you hear this story and how it plays out and how it ends and everything, to me, at least, it doesn't seem like something that you wouldn't be comfortable sharing with friends, and like it almost seems like something you would look back on and laugh about. Like this seems like the kind of thing that would definitely be scary in the moment, but once it's passed and you know everything is okay, it would just kind of be funny. Which leads me to saying, obviously, we'll never know if this story is true or not, but if it's not, I think this might be their out if a friend ever called them out saying, hey, why did you never tell us about this?
Elle and her friend, Janelle, family friend, they're downstairs in the movie theater room and they're just playing. I saw them with my own eyes when I walked by and they were in there. So I walked into the master bedroom where Shirley and Nicole were, and they were like talking, you know, like just getting their hair done. And I sit on the bed and I'm holding Steele, breastfeeding him, and then Alea comes and lays next to me and we're just in the room talking, right? He walks in and he's like, hey, do you guys want Jamba Juice?
All right, so I'm gonna be cutting out a lot because this is a 30-minute video and it's a story that could be told in about 4 minutes. I'm gonna try not to cut out anything important because I want you guys to have all the information to make your own decision. So just know if I leave something in, it's probably important to the story.
And we all looked at each other, we're like, no, I don't want Jamba Juice. And Lele was like, I want Jamba Juice. And so they ended up going with Austin. So Steele and Alea went with Austin to Jamba Juice. In that moment that he walked in and asked if we wanted Jamba Juice, Yesenia, who's our good family friend, walks in and she's like, hey, have you seen Elle and Janelle? And I was like, I think they're in a theater room, I just saw them there. And she's like, no, they're not there. She's like, oh, they're probably playing hide and go seek. Like, I'm gonna go look in the other.
All right, so this is my biggest issue with this story. Now, this entire situation is caused because these two kids are apparently playing hide and seek, which would be fine if in the entire video they said who they were hiding from. At no point in this entire 30 minutes do they say who they were hiding from or if anybody was even playing with them, which would kind of make sense if they were hiding from each other, but they end up hiding in the same spot together. Now look, I know kids are stupid, but if they're playing hide and seek, wouldn't even a kid know that they're supposed to be hiding from somebody?
Yeah, but I know, like, internally, like, I guess as a mom, I just knew they weren't playing hide. I knew Elle wasn't playing hide and go seek at that moment. For whatever reason, like, I just knew.
So this doesn't make sense either for many reasons, but mainly because they end up saying that they were playing hide and seek, so I don't understand why this was even included.
So at that moment, 10 to 15 minutes pass by and Yesenia walks back in the room. She's like, hey, like, I can't find them. Like, they're really hiding, like I can't find them. And I was like, did you look outside? She's like, yeah, I did, but like it's getting cold and I know they're wearing shorts. Then I stood up and I did the biggest yell over the railing and I was like, Elle, where are you? Come up here right now. He's walking in the door with the two kids with the bags and the Jamba Juice.
Alright, so when she said this, my spidey senses started tingling. I had alarm bells going off in my head. I've been to LA, I've driven in LA, and I know that nothing, absolutely nothing that involves driving is a 10 to 15 minute ordeal. Unless you live in the parking lot, you are not driving to a Jamba Juice, ordering, getting it, and coming back in LA in 10 minutes. Now I know us humans are not always the best at telling time, but if she's actually saying that it was only 10 minutes for this entire thing to happen, no way this story is real. Alright, more information. I just went full internet detective and I looked up their old address because, I mean, they've sold the house. It's public information at this point. And the closest Jamba Juice to them is 8 minutes away, one way without traffic. No way this took 10 minutes.
And mind you, like the way our house is set up is like we have 24-hour security. We have a gate, like a big gate at the front.
We knew both of our neighbors on both sides, but we didn't know the neighbor behind us.
So I run outside to the front door in my socks and I go to my security guard and I go, hey, have you seen the girls? He goes, no, what do you mean? He's like, the only person that I've seen in the last hour is Shirley and she just drove away like 30 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. And he goes, and when she drove away, I opened the gate and I closed it.
All right, this is pretty important, and I think that it almost solidifies that this story did not happen. Once again, they could be leaving something out, but just keep in mind that the security guard was outside patrolling like the driveway this entire time, okay? Very important. Very important. All right, so for the next like 15 minutes, really nothing that would kind of indicate whether the story is true or not is talked about. They just talk about how they're looking for the kids, how they go, go like through the backyard, through all the rooms. Austin talks about how he was considering taking his gun to the neighbor's house because that's a great idea. And then they start talking about how they were calling the phone, but nobody was answering. But when they send voice messages like over text to the kid, somebody was listening to them, but they didn't know who. And that the location of the kid's phone was off, so they couldn't track the phone. Just a whole lot of talk about how they couldn't find them and how all this stuff with the phone was making them think that they actually got kidnapped.
So then Shirley calls back.
Okay, so then Shirley calls back within like 2 minutes of her hanging up, right? Yeah. So she calls within 2 minutes and she goes, "You will not believe this. I am so upset right now. I can't believe this is happening. The girls are in my trunk and they're sleeping."
Alright, so this is the story. Not going to go into my ideas yet. I'm going to let them talk for a little bit longer. But keep in mind, they said the grandma Shirley called back like 2 or 3 minutes later. They're saying called back because the other lady called her and she said, "No, I haven't seen anything. I'm just sitting here stuck in traffic." Emphasis on stuck in traffic, okay?
They weren't sleeping?
No. They tried to say when they went to go hide in grandma's car, they were hiding and they fell asleep while they were hiding. So that's why they weren't responding. But we were like, then who was listening to the voice messages? So we knew that was cap. So basically, guys, as they were playing hide and go seek, they hid in grandma's car, which was in the front of the house, in the garage basically. And they took it as far as going in the garage, hopping in grandma's car. Like I said, they're pretty good freaking hiders. Hid in grandma's car as Yesenia and other people were looking for them. And happened to be perfect timing of when grandma was leaving to where grandma hopped in the car. They still thought the game was going on, clearly. And as grandma was backing her crowd to leave, they were trying to stay quiet. Now, this is where it gets interesting because they felt like as the car was moving and grandma was leaving, they still thought the game was being played.
Alright, so there is the basic story. There's a lot wrong here, guys. So let's walk through this. Let's walk through how I'm picturing this in my head. So we've got these two kids playing hide and seek with nobody. They're hiding together from nobody, and they manage to get into the trunk of a car without anybody noticing. I want you guys to think about how Austin was recounting where the car was. First, he says at the front of the house. He kind of pauses for a second and says in the garage, basically, and then says in the garage. I think he was remembering where his grandmother usually parks, and that's in the front of the house, and then realized that wouldn't make any sense because of the security. So for this to have happened, these two would have had to get the keys from the grandmother without anybody noticing, walk to the car, evade security, open the trunk without the security guard noticing, go back inside without the security guard noticing, return the keys without anybody noticing, go out again without the security guard seeing, and then get in the trunk. Then the grandma had to load her luggage not in the trunk, because keep in mind she was staying the night at the house, so she would have had something. They even talk about her collecting her bags, put those in the back seat, then drive off without the kids making a noise or giggling or anything because they're in a moving car, not hear the phone ringing, not hear the voice messages going off, which I went and tested and you can, at least in my car, and then, based off these phone calls, be stuck in heavy traffic in LA, and then in 2 minutes make it to a gas station, and for some reason while you're getting gas, open your trunk. I don't know about you guys, but all of that happening seems a bit too hard to believe for me. I mean, from nobody seeing the kids go outside for the phone tracking being off for some reason, and then why you'd open your trunk while getting gas. None of the times make sense. Everything happened way too quickly as they're acknowledging that they keep getting stuck in LA traffic. I mean, nothing makes sense. I mean, it's just weird. I don't know why you'd wake up one morning and be like, "Hey honey, do you want to make a fake video about us thinking our children got kidnapped?" I mean, I just don't get it. Is there a possibility that this happened? I mean, sure, there's a possibility, not a big one in my opinion, but I really do think this is fake, and I just don't understand why this is the topic that you would choose to do for your Vlogmas story time. I mean, you guys are rich and you have 3 kids and you do stuff all the time. Surely you have a real story you could tell. I don't get it. Well guys, what do you think? I'm pretty interested to hear whether or not the majority of you guys think this is real or not. I don't think the idea is necessarily like out of the realm of possibility. I'm sure there's some kids who have done this before, but just the way they told it and the circumstances they provided, I just don't buy it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and walk on over to that subscribe button and touch it. It's free. It won't cost you anything. But for now, that's all I have for you today. Bye.
subscribe.